This is the Female Founder Show with host and entrepreneur Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Female Founder Show. My favorite entrepreneurial stories are the ones where someone saw a need as they were going about their everyday life and they went for it. That's exactly what today's guest did, and wow, did she go for it. Now she is the holder of 6 U.S. patents. She was the 2021 Enterprising Woman of the Year and on the 100 Women to Know list. Her company was recently on the Inc. 5000 America's Fastest Growing Private Companies list, and she has been featured on numerous shows, including Good Morning America and Fox and Friends. Even right here on ASBN, where she was featured on our U.S. Chamber Small Business Update with Tom Sullivan. I'm so excited to talk to Amy Fazackerley about her company Lay & Go and her amazing journey as a female founder. So Amy, with that, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, Bridget, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to thank you for the Female Founder Show and allowing founders like myself to tell our story. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Now, I love your story. So I think it would be great to start there. If you could talk to us about the Lay & Go and the reason that you started your company.
Absolutely. I always like to start with, I kind of refer to my story as necessity is the mother of invention, which we've all heard of. And that really is my story. I started with 3 young boys, my basement, and the typical bins, buckets, and baskets, and $1 million worth of Lego, and no way to make them clean them up and make them portable. And I wanted a washable solution. And like many moms, I went searching high and low to try to find the solution on the market, and there was nothing available. So I just created one. And it really started with that specialized niche market solution called the Lay & Go Large. And it was a 60-inch mat that allowed my kids to pour the bins and buckets of Lego out and spread them around. And then as a mom to clean up in seconds. And what I quickly realized was that I was having the same problem my kids were having with toys, but mine was with makeup. So we miniaturized the idea and padded and quilted and remarketed it to women. And it really became a mass market product called the Lay & Go Cosmo. And it's our cosmetic bag, which is now our bread and butter. And we've sold millions of them. And we then added to the collection, and we looked at other solutions that we could solve with our pets, electronics, and even the military. We have a military solution called the Defender. So that's really how we started with play, and we moved into the cosmetic world, and we just kept going.
Yeah, and there's so many areas that you could use this. I actually have one with me right now. I love it. Thank you so much. These are great. Use it every day. I have to take my makeup into work with me every day. So super convenient and very easy. So, and I wish I had them when my son was playing with Legos. He was already a little outgrown. He outgrew the Legos when this was invented. So, but I have grandchildren now, so I will be sure that they have them for their Legos.
Well, thank you.
Now, let's shift gears a little bit. If you could go back to 2011 when you started, is there anything that you wish you knew then, or know now that you knew then?
Oh boy, that's a great question, and I would have to answer it with almost everything because I went back and got an MBA and with a strategic marketing focus. And that's all great and good, but there's nothing like boots on the ground and rolling up your sleeves and actually doing the work. And I would say, had I known that our first patent was going to take over 4 years, manufacturing, did I know that I would start in Pakistan and move to China and Cambodia and back to China and not be able to make it in the United States? Inventory management is always an issue with products like ours, and understanding what is the trend and how much do you need, and when Q4 hits, what does that do to your sales? And I would say online marketing, pricing, packaging. I mean, everything that you learn in school, it's just, so intensified when you're actually having to do it yourself and figure it out. So I would say that answer is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost hard. It's probably hard to nail down just one thing because so much of being an entrepreneur is really just diving in and figuring it out as you go. There's no playbook for it. You just have to get in and do it and learn as you go. So
And you
yeah,
wear
so
so
great
many
answer.
hats, and you every day is so different. You have this issue today, the global pandemic one week, and you've got supply chain the next week, and now your overseas tariffs went from 14% to 42%, and how do you address that? And it's there's just everything. It's new every day. There's a new problem to solve every day.
Yeah, you have to pivot every day, it seems.
You do.
Now, as a female leader, what role models or mentors have impacted your life, and how have they influenced your approach to your business?
Yeah, so I would really say that there wasn't one particular person, but there were many people along the way. I mean, it was just nuggets of information over the 13 years. Organizations and groups that I was involved in, like WeBank, which is Women Business Enterprise National Council, WPO, which is Women Presidents Organization, the U.S. Chamber has been fabulous. We do a lot of peer-to-peer learning and educational groups. I've participated in Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. We're really involved with Syracuse University, and we do a lot of mentoring and working with them, and the feedback that we get from that is tremendous. And how has it changed my approach? I would say that do what you love and the money comes. And I always feel like I have to keep a balance along the way. Enjoy my downtime. That's one thing I've learned over the past 14 years. It's hard when you're wearing so many hats to just enjoy the moments and be in the moment. Don't give up. I mean, if I had given up, multiple times where I've had mishaps and issues, and I could have given up way back 14 years ago. And I would just say you just keep digging and pushing and looking for those answers, and never stop learning. I think that really has been part of my approach as well, is that every day there's something new to learn and grow.
Absolutely. Now, there are a lot of women watching that own a business with their spouses, or they might be thinking about working with their spouse. You and I both work with alongside our husbands. So, would you talk to us about how you make that work and maintain a happy household as well?
Yeah, yeah. I think we do a really good job at setting boundaries and kind of staying in our lane. So we really understand like our strengths and weaknesses. My background is sales and marketing, and his is more finance and engineering, and we certainly overlap and we rely on each other for some of that overlap. But it's really looking at how do we balance it? How do we stay in our lane? How do we, we always kid each other because it's like we can't both have a down day, right? Like if you're going to stay down and out about something today, I've got to like be cheery and get you going and be positive. So I think it's learning how to really overlap and keep each other positive and going. We have some like work-free time and then work-free zones where it's like we don't talk about work. We don't, it's just we're here to not discuss it. We're outside of the office, even though we're never outside of the office.
Yeah.
And we do have separate workspaces. So I think that, that helps to be able to kind of walk away and just think about things.
Yeah, definitely. It's so funny that I've been asked that question many times, and I think I've answered it exactly the way you did, especially the staying in your lanes. I think that because my husband and I have different strengths and weaknesses, it does work really well. I couldn't imagine if we both were good at the same thing and bad at the same thing. I don't know if that would be as easy of a flow. So it's funny that you said exactly the almost word for word exactly the way I answered that question many times. So there must be something to that.
Well, that's probably why it works for both of us,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That's right. Right. Exactly. Now, as a female founder, what were some of the unique challenges that you faced while building your company, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I would say the biggest challenge for me would be the intellectual property. It's kind of getting the patent took so long and so much time and effort, and really relying on, that lawyer that we trusted with our lives. And then once we got the patent, it was continuing the continuations that we've gone down that journey of now we have 6 U.S. utility patents, and then it's protecting. my lawyer from day one said, you're going to work so hard to get this, you're going to get it, and then you're going to work so hard to protect it. And that has been the truth since day one. It's just we still are policing and protecting and having to pull down infringers. And I think more for me, I would say, than my husband is these infringers, a lot of offshore infringers that I've been dealing with over the past 12 years, and really more so in the beginning, was that it was heartbreaking for me to see them use images of myself and my children on their packaging on infringing products and confusing the market. And I just, as a mom, it was like, how could somebody do that? So that was really tough. You just get thick skin, and after so many of them, you go, oh yeah, it's just another picture, right? But I think that was I would say that was really a big challenge for me to overcome in the beginning, and get that thick skin and go, yeah, this is what I'm going to be dealing with for the next however many years.
Yeah, that probably helped in so many other areas too, because in business, as you know, you can take things very personal,
Yeah,
and that doesn't help your business at all. So I'm sure that helped you in so many other areas of your business to get through that. And you're like, if you can get through that, you can probably get through anything.
absolutely. That's how I felt.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, it's so important to take care of yourself in order to take care of your business and your family. Is there something that you do each day for yourself that helps you keep going?
Yeah, I always try to get good sleep, and if I'm really into routine, and it's exercising. I get up, I exercise, I get organized. And I think that really helps me to kind of get clarity on what I need to do today and how to stay focused. So that's really how I start. And then I always like to end my day with a dinner with my whole family. And we, kind of discuss the day. So it's like a download, and it's like, okay, now I'm out of the office and I'm putting that away for the day. I've also, I would say, learned to say no, which was really hard in the beginning when, as we discussed, you're wearing so many hats and you're doing so many things and you're juggling so many balls, and you've got, young children and a business. And I've had to learn to say no. And that's, I think, helped me. And I always like to say, kind of my words of wisdom are with grit, grace, and gratitude. And gratitude is really something that, that really helps me stay focused and enjoying what I do, because it's been such an interesting journey. But every day I am grateful for how how I started and where I am and how I got there.
I love that grit, grace, and gratitude. So many times the grace word kind of seems to fall to the side. So anytime there's a challenge here, I have to say, okay, you just have to take everything with grace and be graceful and grateful at the same time. So I
Yes.
like that you said that, because that's often not a word used when giving advice, and it's so, so important. Yeah. Now, as founders, we have to work really hard to find the lessons and the failures, as you have and you talked about. Can you think of a time in your career when there was a moment that seemed like a failure, that things just weren't going to work out, and it actually turned around and worked out in your favor?
Yeah. So this is, I love this question because I could hone right in on the moment it happened. And it was early on in our sales cycle. We were meeting with this huge rep group right after the New York Toy Fair, and they wanted thousands of units. And we were so excited. We had made this big sale, and they wanted, us to put specialty kits together and educate their sales team. And we put so much time and money and like just TLC into this program. And they didn't sell one unit. And we were looking at each other like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with all this inventory? And where does it go from here? Right. So fast forward, of course, we sold the inventory and it all went well. But fast forward, when Costco and Target came knocking on our door, it was like looking back and going, do you remember what happened and how we reacted so quickly? And let's make it intentional. Let's give ourselves a real timeline so that we don't fluster and fail. Let's set ourselves up for success and take our time and take calculated risks, and I think that was the lesson learned, is that we did it right, that when it really mattered. So that
Yeah,
was a great lesson learned.
definitely, definitely. Wow, that is important to learn. Really, a failure is just the education, right?
Absolutely. And it happens every day, right?
Yeah,
You learn and you pick yourself up and you go, okay, I'm not going to do that again.
that's
Learned
right.
that lesson.
That's right. That's for sure. Now, on the most challenging days, what do you do to stay motivated and positive to keep going?
Well, like I said, I love routine. I set a lot of goals weekly, and then I write down tasks and I do my daily tasks. I think what I've learned, and I think it comes with time and experience and wisdom, is that I've really surrounded myself with other motivated and positive people. And I think that, when you're young, you kind of are going with the flow. And I think as I've gotten older and more mature, I'm able to say, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to spend more time with this kind of person or this kind of group, right? And I think one of the other things that really helps to motivate myself, and I'm sure my husband, is that we really appreciate and learn to celebrate the wins, whether they're big or small. We made the Inc. 5000 list, and that was a big win, and we were so excited. But you can get so wrapped up in just going, oh, we have this and we have that, and we've got all these other things to do, and move on, and then not realize that you've never really stopped to celebrate. So I think that's really important, and important message to tell others that are going through this, is that even the little wins along the way, you've got to pat yourself on the back and celebrate those wins and recognize that you're moving forward and you're moving mountains.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's great. Now, talk to us. There are a lot of women watching that struggle with trying to do it all and do it all perfectly. You're a wife, a mother, a business owner. How do you balance it? Now, we've talked a little bit about the routine and exercising, but just how do you do it?
Yeah, I think it's really recognizing your values, and those can change. But what is important today, and I really, with that, I practice time management. I focus on my family. I focus on my health, which is, how are you going to do this if you're not healthy? Being really intentional and enjoying that downtime, because as you know, and I know, this is a 24/7 job. It never goes away. Your office is always there. Your phone's always there. Your computer's always there. People are always in need of something. So it's really recognizing that you need the downtime. You need to get away. You need to step out. And I love what I do. And I would say my superpower in really balancing all this is being organized, which is why I started an organizational company, right? I'm just like that. I'm really uber organized. And I feel like that helps me to be able to juggle a lot more than maybe most people. I mean, I have friends that say, I do more in one day than they do all month. And it's because I, set my goals, I write things down, I stay super organized, and it becomes more routine and becomes really, easy.
That's for sure. Now, any advice you would give to someone thinking about starting a business right now?
Well, I would say, just dig deep and look at those calculated risks. Get a support system. Mentors are really great. Talk to others. I do a lot of peer-to-peer discussions through all of my organizational groups that I mentioned earlier. And, have faith and trust, and surround yourself by positive and motivated people.
And work on your organization
And
being organized.
Absolutely. That's number one.
All right. So what's next for Lay and Go? Where do you see the company in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, obviously, we want to continue to stay innovative. We want to continue those patents, keep solving everyday household problems, which is really what we do. We want to, design and develop and keep looking at trends. And I think on a bigger scale, when I think of this question, it's how do we give back? We've been doing this and going at this for a while, almost 15 years, and it's time for us to really reflect and help to mentor and help that next generation. And that's really what we're looking to do through the Chamber and through Syracuse University and some of these other organizations that we're getting involved with. And how do we help others that have great ideas to take them to market and like facilitate making it faster and easier for them, because it's not easy. It's not fast. There's a lot that comes with that. And I think if we can help in any way and give advice and let them, give them the knowledge and the wisdom that we have acquired over the past 14 years, it would be fabulous. So, my children, I don't know if any of them are interested in taking over the business, but I have 3 sons, and maybe one day they will come up with another innovative idea to add to our collection and take over. So,
Well, you're giving back by being on the Female Founder Show today, so we appreciate that very much.
well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and thank you again for allowing me and other women founders to have a platform to share their story. It's really important. So thank you for the work you're doing. It's fabulous.
Absolutely. This was a pleasure, and thank you again for coming on the show and for your kind words. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bridget.
This is the Female Founder Show with host and entrepreneur Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN. If you're a female founder and would like to help other female founders with your inspiring story, we would love to hear from you.